Brain versus machine, the dopamine trap of AI apps. Welcome to Mindflow Balance, your channel for human psychology and creativity. Let's talk about something you probably felt this morning but didn't name. You picked up your phone, opened an app, maybe it was social media, maybe it was a game, maybe it was ChatGPT generating something for you, and for a moment, you felt a little spark, a little hit of pleasure. That wasn't random, that was dopamine. And every AI-powered app you use is designed to trigger it, not occasionally, constantly. And your brain, beautiful and ancient and utterly unprepared for this level of stimulation, is getting hacked. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that drives motivation and reward. It's what made your ancestors hunt for food, seek out mates, explore new territories. It's the chemical of wanting, of anticipation, of the promise that something good is coming. And here's the critical part. Dopamine doesn't spike when you get the reward, it spikes in anticipation of the reward. When you're scrolling and you think the next post might be interesting, dopamine. When you ask AI to generate an image and you're waiting to see what it creates, dopamine. When you're about to open a notification, dopamine. The actual content? That barely matters. It's the maybe that hooks you. Now, traditional apps figured this out years ago. Social media platforms weaponized dopamine with infinite scroll, variable rewards, notifications designed to pull you back in. But AI apps have taken this to another level. They're not just showing you content someone else made. They're creating content specifically for you, in real time, tailored to your exact request. That's a much more potent dopamine hit because it feels personal. It feels like the machine is working for you, understanding you, giving you exactly what you want. And every time it delivers, your brain learns, this app gives me what I need. Check it more, use it more, don't put it down. Let me give you a concrete example. You're using an AI writing assistant. You type a prompt and in seconds it generates a paragraph. You read it, tweak it, generate another. Each generation is a mini reward. Each tweak feels like progress. You've been at it for an hour and you haven't noticed because your dopamine system is purring. You feel productive, creative, engaged. But here's the question, are you actually creating or are you just pushing buttons and getting hits? Are you thinking deeply or are you outsourcing thought and getting addicted to the speed? Before we go deeper, if you've ever lost track of time in an AI app and felt simultaneously productive and empty afterward, hit that like button and drop a comment. What's the AI app you use most? And be honest, do you control it or does it control you? I want to know because this trap is new and we're all figuring it out together. Here's where the psychology gets dangerous. Dopamine-driven behavior is about short-term reward. It's about quick hits. And AI apps deliver those hits faster than almost anything else in your life. You want an answer? Instant. You want an image? Seconds. You want a summary, a plan, a joke, a story? Done. Your brain starts to expect this speed everywhere. And when reality doesn't deliver, when tasks require slow thinking, deep focus, patience, your brain rebels. It feels boring, it feels hard, it feels pointless. So you reach for the app again because that's where the easy dopamine lives. This is called a dopamine trap. You are stuck in a loop where your brain's reward system has been recalibrated to expect constant, fast, easy hits. And anything that doesn't provide that feels intolerable. You're not lazy, you're not broken, you're experiencing a predictable neurological response to an environment your brain wasn't designed for. And the cost is your ability to do hard things, to think slowly, to tolerate boredom, to engage in the kind of deep work that actually truly changes your life. Let's talk about what happens in your brain when you're in this loop. Dopamine is released from a part of your brain called the ventral tegmental area, and it travels to the nucleus accumbens, your reward center. When you get frequent dopamine spikes, your brain adjusts. It downregulates dopamine receptors, meaning you need more stimulation to feel the same level of pleasure. This is literally the mechanism of addiction. You're not addicted to the app itself, you're addicted to the dopamine it triggers. And just like any addiction, you need escalating doses to maintain the high. Now, AI companies know this. They are not evil, but they are incentivized by engagement. The more you use the app, the more data they collect, the more you pay for premium features, the more they grow. So they design for stickiness, they design for speed, they design for that little spark of delight every time you interact. And you, with your finite attention and your ancient brain, are outmatched. You're trying to exert willpower against a system optimized by some of the smartest engineers in the world to keep you hooked. That's not a fair fight. But here's what gives me hope. You're not helpless, you have awareness, and awareness is the first step to breaking any trap. Once you understand that the pleasure you feel isn't neutral, that it's engineered, you can start to make different choices. You can start to ask, is this app serving me or am I serving it? Is this making my life better or just more stimulating? Am I using AI as a tool or am I being used by the dopamine it triggers? Let me tell you about the concept of deep work. It's the ability to focus without distraction on cognitively demanding tasks. It's where real creativity happens, where breakthroughs occur, where you produce work that actually matters. And deep work requires sustained attention. It requires the ability to sit with discomfort, to tolerate the slow emergence of ideas, to resist the urge to check, switch, refresh. AI apps, by their nature, are the opposite of deep work. They're shallow work on steroids. They give you the illusion of productivity without the substance of real thought. Here's the paradox. AI tools can amplify deep work if used correctly. They can handle the grunt work so you can focus on the creative work. But only if you're the one in control, only if you set boundaries, only if you use them deliberately instead of compulsively. The difference between a tool and a trap is intentionality. Do you open the app with a specific goal, use it, and close it? Or do you open it because you're bored, scroll aimlessly, and emerge an hour later wondering where the time went? Let's talk about how to escape the dopamine trap. First, you need to recognize the pattern. Start noticing when you reach for AI apps. Is it because you have a specific task or is it because you're avoiding something? Are you bored, anxious, procrastinating? The trigger matters because if you don't address the underlying need, you'll keep falling back into the loop. Second, introduce friction. Make it harder to access the apps that hook you. Log out between sessions, delete them from your phone, and only use them on your computer. Set timers. Use website blockers. I know this sounds extreme, but remember, you're up against systems designed to be frictionless. You need to reintroduce friction manually. Third, cultivate boredom. I'm serious. Your brain needs downtime. It needs moments where nothing is happening, where dopamine isn't spiking, where you're just sitting with your thoughts. This is where creativity actually happens. This is where you process emotions, consolidate memories, make connections between ideas. If you're constantly stimulated, you're constantly shallow. Boredom isn't the enemy, it's the soil where deep thinking grows. Fourth, practice delayed gratification. Train your brain to tolerate waiting, to tolerate not knowing, to tolerate the discomfort of a question hanging in the air before you Google it or ask an AI. This is hard. This feels unnatural in a world where answers are instant, but it's essential. Your ability to delay gratification is directly linked to your ability to achieve long-term goals. If you can't wait 5 minutes for an answer, how will you wait 5 years for mastery? Let's go deeper into the cost of this trap. When your dopamine system is hijacked, you lose the ability to find pleasure in slow things. A book feels too slow. A conversation without your phone feels boring. A walk without a podcast feels pointless. You're constantly seeking the next hit, and life becomes a series of stimulations instead of experiences. You're not present, you're not here. You're always chasing the next little spark, and in the process, you miss everything that actually matters. Think about relationships. Real connection requires presence. It requires listening without planning your response. It requires tolerating silence. It requires being okay with the fact that not every moment is entertaining. If your brain is wired for constant dopamine hits, you'll struggle with all of that. You'll check your phone mid-conversation. You'll get restless when someone tells a slow story. You'll feel like connection isn't enough because it doesn't spike your dopamine the way an app does. And slowly, your relationships will become shallow because you can't show up fully. Think about creativity. Real creativity requires incubation. It requires letting ideas simmer in the background while you do other things. It requires trusting that your subconscious is working even when you're not actively thinking. But if you're always stimulated, your subconscious never gets space. You're too busy feeding your brain new inputs to let it process the old ones. So your creativity becomes derivative. Surface level, a recombination of things you just consumed instead of something genuinely new emerging from the depths. Here's the shift I want you to make. Start thinking of dopamine as a resource, not an unlimited well. Every time you spike it artificially with an app, you're depleting your ability to feel motivated by real-world rewards. Work becomes harder to start, exercise feels more effortful, conversations feel less engaging. You've raised your baseline and now everything else is below threshold. The solution isn't to eliminate dopamine, it's to recalibrate, to save it for things that matter, to stop giving it away to apps that don't. Imagine what your life looks like 6 months from now if you break this trap. You open AI apps with purpose, use them and close them. You spend an hour reading without checking your phone. You have a conversation where you're fully present. You start a project and work on it for 2 hours straight without distraction. You feel the satisfaction of deep focus, and it's better than any dopamine hit an app ever gave you. That's possible. That's available to you. But you have to choose it every single day until it becomes automatic. If this video made you realize you've been living in a dopamine loop, subscribe to Mindflow Balance. We dive into the hidden psychology of modern life and how to reclaim your mind in a world designed to distract you. And tell me in the comments, what's one dopamine trap you're ready to break? Let's build a community of people who refuse to be hacked by their own brains. Thank you for being here. Now go reclaim your dopamine.